What's up, y'all? I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things about Terminator 2 that you did not know. Alright, number 1. Purple crotch? So, in the scene when Arnold Schwarzenegger is naked pretty much, and he goes into the biker bar, and everybody is like, ooh, like looking at him, or like getting mad looking at him, they actually had something to react to. Obviously, he wasn't naked, because they shot him from the waist up. But what you didn't know is that he was wearing loud purple board shorts. So, the behind the scenes pictures of it is really, really funny because it's all serious, like, he was like looking like Terminator mode. But then when you see him with the purple shorts, it's like, ah! And, also another little fun tidbit about that scene is that there was this drunk woman who stumbled into the bar, and the production thought they had, only had actors in there. But at one point there was an actual bar, person in there. And she walked up to Donald and she was like, hey, what's going on? And he said, well, don't you know, it's male stripper night. And then, like, everybody laughed and they're like, oh, and they had to, like, escort her out, But that's pretty funny. Okay. Number 2. So, Edward Furlong plays John Connor. And he's about, I think, 12 in this film. So, John Connor is supposed to lead the resistance in the future and all that kind of stuff. So, the actor, Edward Furlong, was found in a playground in California. And he was just basically taken off the street. And it's like, hey, you got the look we need for the film, do you want to act? And it was his first film. So that's kind of cool. Also, during the film, he hit puberty super hard. His voice changed, he got taller, so what they had to end up doing was redubbing a lot of the beginning part of the film that they shot because his voice was so much different,
Help!
This does not help our mission.
Help! Get this thing off of me! Help! Help! Help me! Get this thing off of me! Let me go!
And also, there was this one scene where they had to, like, dig a hole in the dirt because they had to reshoot it at the very end. And he had grown so much taller that it just looked weird when they put the two shots together. So that's kind of funny. Alright. Number 3. On a more serious note, James Cameron, he was going from some experiences that happened to him. And whenever he was young, he kind of had this innocence, and whenever he found out about nuclear war and all this threat and everything, he felt like his bubble really burst. And, what he thought he was living was a dream. And that reality was harsh and mean. And, there was things that he had to worry about all the time. So, the threat of nuclear war is definitely a theme in this film. Number 4. Linda Hamilton is a badass in real life. There's a couple of scenes in this film that she does for real. Like, there's a scene where she's strapped to the bed, and she, like, steals that paper clip that she ends up, like, spitting out and, like, locking herself. Linda Hamilton, she insisted that she do it for real. So, I mean, they could have, like, cut to someone else's hands, or they could have made it super easy for her to get out, but she's like, no, I want to do it for real. So that's kind of cool. Also, of course she learned how to shoot guns really well and everything, and she got really buff for the film. And there was a quote that was from the commentary that whenever Arnold Schwarzenegger saw her after not seeing her for years, he's like, whoa, you got really buff, you're ripped to shreds, Another funny thing that Linda Hamilton did was there's a scene where an orderly is supposed to hit her and she falls. And whenever they were shooting that scene, the guy didn't really want to hit her, like he was kind of like, timid or whatever. And so she had to practice, like, almost getting hit and falling, like, tons of times. So her knees were all bruised, her elbows were all bruised, and she, like, got mad at him. She's like, hit me for real so we can do this for real so it looks good in one shot. I don't have to keep falling to the ground, you know? So when the tables were turned and she's escaping, she hits him for real. She hits him right square in the mouth for real, and she hits him on the back for real. So that's kind of funny. Number 5. There was a protest at the set of the mental institution. It's kind of funny because the locals were like, hey, you know, we don't want this here. You know, this looks too harsh, or, you know, we don't want this associated with our community. And they're like, you know. But little did they know that it was a movie set. So, you know, the barbed wire and, you know, like the sign with it said, you know, mental institution was all fake. And it was pretty funny because they had no idea and they ended up protesting anyway. Number 6. So a lot of practical effects were used in this movie when I thought they were CGI. So obviously at the time this movie came out, CGI was new, you know, it was really expensive, and they actually invented some stuff whenever they made this film. So there were some effects that to this day I thought were CGI, but I found out that they're not. For example, whenever the Terminator shoots the T-1000 in the head with the shotgun for the first time, and his head kind of like, you know, goes all crazy, that was all practical. It was the stuntman with like a attached head, and it just like exploded or whatever. It had metallic paint or whatever. Also at the very end, whenever I think it's Sarah Connor shoots him with one of those grenade things, and he like busts open like right from the torso and is like all twisted. That is practical as well. So that's crazy. It's funny because they nicknamed the one with the head, they nicknamed Sauce Head, and the one with the body they nicknamed Pretzel Man. So that's kind of funny. And Stan Winston did a lot of the practical effects for this film, and he did a fantastic job. Number 7. So in the film, there were 2 sets of twins used. One of the sets of twins was that kind of overweight cop that had the red hair in the mental institution, and he was getting coffee and all that, and he got stabbed in the eye. That one, those guys were a set of twins, and they used it so they could get that shot where the T-1000 turns into him and is, you know, just stabbing him in the eye. And it was, you know, all practical and done a lot easier than, you know, doing like a side-by-side split screen or like trying to mend 2 things together. So that's kind of cool. Also, the biggest shock to me personally was Linda Hamilton is a twin. So they used her twin in a couple different shots. One of them is a deleted scene where she is taking apart the Terminator's brain and taking out his chip and everything. And there's like a mirror in there. They had like two sets of the whole thing. So they had, you know, 2 Sarahs, 2 Arnolds, 1 fake, obviously, so she could dig into his brain. And then at the very end, when the T-1000 turns into Sarah Connor and is like calling out, you know, and you see the 2 Sarahs there. That's really two people. So that's kind of cool. Number 8. During the filming of this movie, they used a freeway, and they closed it down from like, you know, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever. And it was that scene where the T-1000 is driving like the semi, and they're chasing after him, and they have like a really, you know, rinky-dink car. And first they have the SWAT truck or whatever. Anyway, so they had to film that scene at night. And they, you know, set up in advance. So they set up all these like lighting cables and like power cords and all this stuff to get ready for the night shoot. And what ended up happening one day was that all their stuff was stolen. So this is like, I don't know how long it was, like a mile or something of cords were stolen. And so, you know, James Cameron and the producers were like frantic. They're like calling everybody, you know, saying, hey, like our stuff got stolen. We need to get this stuff now because we have this time slot of, you know, shooting on the freeway and we're going to lose it, you know. So they had to call everybody to try to get some help with that. So that's kind of interesting that, you know, the set of Terminator 2 got robbed. Number 9. There was a lot of organic sounds used and mixed in to show the sounds of the Terminators. So first of all, with Arnold, they added some lion roars and tiger growls to his Harley, which I think is interesting because it kind of adds another layer of, sound there. That was a really cool sound design. And as well, whenever the T-1000 is, morphing or gets hit or whatever, they use some interesting sounds like a hand being stuck in a casserole, like, ugh, and some dog food plopping out of a can and stuff like that. And whenever he gets shot, they used like some weird stuff, like they had like a vat of yogurt and they were throwing glass in it and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, it's really interesting. They can really like make cool noises with organic stuff or just random stuff. So that's kind of cool. Number 10. This is probably the biggest one, and it's that there is an alternative ending. And if you get the special edition DVD, you'll probably be able to see it. I think there's a couple different versions of it, but of the actual DVD, not the ending. But so in the alternative ending, Sarah Connor is old, and she's doing like a voiceover into like a tape recorder, and she's at that same playground that got blown away in the nuclear thing in her head. And they're pushing in the swing. Her granddaughter is John Connor. And you see that he looks different. He doesn't have a big scar, and he looks different. And, she has doing like a voiceover and saying that he's still a leader and he uses like hope and stuff like that as a senator. So that's kind of interesting. And my other favorite quote of that alternative ending is when Sarah says that if a Terminator can learn the value of human life, then maybe we have a chance as, humans. So that's kind of cool. Alright guys, that was my top 10 facts you didn't know about Terminator 2. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have any more suggestions for any videos, let me know. Alright, bye bye for now.